Hey there, metal and heavy music fans. I'm about to share 5 more underground metal albums that you won't want to miss. But before I do that, if you want to stay up to date on the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, stick with me, Flight of Icarus of MetalTrenches.com, by clicking that subscribe button down below. I upload new content every single week. Let's get into the albums. Alright, first up we've got Ohio occult black metal project Valdrin, following up the already solid Two Carrion Talismans with the even more entrancing Effigy of Nightmares via Blood Harvest Records. I would recommend Valdrin to fans of Palace of Worms, Helloborus, and Enslaved. Honestly, my only real complaint of Valdrin's otherwise impressive 2018 album was one of overall length. At the time, I recommended that the band consider trimming the fat to a leaner 35 minutes, and lo and behold, here come the raging hellfires of Effigy of Nightmares, clocking in at just around 33. Can I take credit for that shift? Probably not, but the fact still remains that this follow-up is much stronger for it. The whole ordeal just feels much more focused and concise in its brevity, allowing tracks like Red Burning Candles of Hatred and Basilisk of Light in particular to really make a lasting footprint in their cavernous and haunting intensity. The cascading melodies of Exsanguination Tunnels draw more modern allusions to Botanist, while the copious amounts of reverb and subtle backing synths once more call back to Frost-era Enslaved, with a bleak, jangling guitar tone that is chilling to the bone. Honestly, save for the slightly more polished production, I would believe someone if they told me that this was recorded in Norway during the second wave. Not bad for a couple of Midwesterners. Effigy of Nightmares is easily on my very short list of top-notch black metal albums so far in 2020. So if you haven't yet jumped on the Valdrin train and you're a fan of the genre, do yourself a favor and hop on it. Switching gears, it's a collision of djenty textures, riffs, and early 2000s alternative of Incubus and Hoobastank with UK band Black Orchid Empire and their new album Semaphore via Long Branch Records. Now, given that this is a metal site and all, Dust is probably a pretty good place to start for those wanting something on the heavy side. This track has some of the strongest textures vibes, while still channeling the band's more accessible tendencies. And that's really the name of the game for Black Orchid Empire, that tenuous balance of creating complex, hard-hitting compositions that are also potential radio anthems. The proggy bass, chugging riffs, and oddly timed vocal delivery of Motorcade is straight up Lateralis Tool mashed up with a poppy chorus. Red Waves has guitars and chunky bass grooves that remind me of With Teeth era Nine Inch Nails before catapulting into another infectious sing-along that runs right up against the border of being saccharine without ever fully tipping over the edge. Crash draws some interesting brand new comparisons, oddly enough, and even the admittedly sappy relationship ballad Winter Keeps Us Warm manages to tug at my heartstrings with its soaring refrain backed by a stunning chorus of ohs. It's basically cheating, but damn it, I love it, and I cannot stop singing along to that song. Not unlike Periphery, Black Orchid Empire seem to be mastering the art of marrying technicality with mass appeal. As a result, I am confident that Semaphore could end up being a new generation's gateway to metal music, much like Hybrid Theory and Infest were back in my day. Next up, we've got Australian metalcore deathcore band Loon bringing tight songs and serious energy on their new EP, Ghost. The titular lead single showed major promise for Loon's potential as a new force in the genre, and I'm happy to report that Ghost makes good on that forecast in a big way. Hearing the dark ambient intro once more evolve into a fiery blaze of gent riffs and harsh vocals to kick this thing off is a real treat, and that's only the beginning. All 5 of these tracks have something special to offer, but I'm definitely partial to the synth-heavy deathcore stylings of Manipulator. This absolute mosh frenzy of a track draws more than a few comparisons to Born of Osiris, and that one keyboard phrase, you'll know it when you hear it. Triggers an irresistible urge to throw myself through the nearest object. Between these explosions of primal fury, Loon managed to really flex their dynamic range with some melodic passages a la Within the Ruins for compositions that are both visceral and deeply engaging. From Polaris and Make Them Suffer to Cabal, there is some really incredible young blood bringing a fresh vitality to this genre, and Loon definitely have the chops to climb to the top tier with this promising first release. Taking a left turn yet again, we have French thrash and old school death fury from Witches, The Fates, via Mighty Spells Records. I'd recommend Witches to fans of Necropanther, Carcass, and Creator. Honestly, if Carcass's Jeff Walker decided to retire tomorrow, Witches frontwoman Sibylle Colin Tolkien could step in no problem. Her raspy delivery captures every bit of the same old-school 90s fury that made the band such a mainstay in the genre. But The Fates is a fantastic album for reasons well beyond its vocals. The full speed ahead thrash hooks on the likes of Damn Skin Is Mine and scorching closer Death in the Middle Ages seem to channel all of the European greats from Creator to Sodom. Slower moments like Black from Sorrow also showcase the equally chunky basswork and dynamic drumming that might otherwise get lost in the frenzy of this extreme thrash attack. The Fates is one of the few thrash releases that has caught my attention so far in 2020. Between the relentless riffing and ferocious vocals, Witches are well on their way to great things. Tighten up the songwriting just a few notches and they'll be playing the big circuits in no time. And last but not least, we have Pittsburgh hardcore crew 156 Silence maturing their sound once more with a new self-released LP, Irrational Pull. I'd recommend 156 Silence to fans of Great American Ghost, Daughters, and Loathe. It seems that ditching the trappings of a label was a wise move for 156 Silence. Whereas 2018's Inner Strength Records outing Undercover Scumbag felt like a streamlined step back for the group, Irrational Pull presents nothing but the road ahead. First and foremost, the title track is easily the best thing the band has done since their 2017 single Turmoil. But while the latter found the band ditching the melodic, emotional post-hardcore roots of their debut in favor of the mathcore leanings of The Chariot, Irrational Pull sees the band channeling Daughters by implementing more experimental songwriting and unnerving mumbly vocals to great effect. This element crops up elsewhere throughout the album, including the opening track High Dive in a Low Well, and always makes the heavier parts really pop when frontman Jack Murray suddenly shifts to his aggressive hardcore snarls. And aside from the obvious developments in the vocal department, 156 Silence also continued to deliver on hard-hitting riffs with the effects-driven guitar hooks on Conflict of Interest, and the vulgar-sounding bass rumble once more of Irrational Pull being among my favorites. Clearly, 156 Silence found themselves at a crossroads between knocked loose breakdowns and serial killer fever dreams and said, why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos? I only hope to see the band give even more into the depths of their darker reptilian nature on future outings. And that'll do it. 5 albums that you definitely do not want to miss. But again, please do stick around because there's plenty more videos with more recommendations for you to check out right now. So subscribe to the channel and also make sure other people see this video and hear about these bands by hitting the like button, commenting. Doing that lets YouTube know that, hey, people are actually interested in this content and therefore it will share it out to even more people. Also, look in the description. You can find links to all of our social media, the email newsletter I send out every Friday, and also our Patreon and Subscribestar if you want to make that extra leap to supporting us. Even just $1 a month makes a huge difference. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches. First up, we've got Ohio occult black metal project Valdrin following up the already salad